Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome to a reading of Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol magazine by none other than H.Y.D.R.A. I'm going to go through a very lengthy intro and some disclaimers first, so if you want to skip ahead, please see the timestamps in the comments and the description, and I'll try and get through this as quickly as I can. First of all, I'm not affiliated with H.Y.D.R.A. because I paid for my copy of Combat Patrol. I bought it from a store. I have subscribed to H.Y.D.R.A. on their website in order to be able to guarantee an issue.
You must be so embarrassed!
Because it seems as though the most issues I've seen in any one place is about 2, and this say goes for everyone else. And I think like H.Y.D.R.A. do this as well with like their first issues or something. They just put out a couple just to test the waters, put the feelers out, because I think they've done it a few with their They've done it with a few things like Stormbringer, Imperium magazine, I think, as well. They've done a few for Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar. The other Age of Sigmar one was Stormbringer and Mortal Realms. There was Imperium, and I can't remember what the other one was for Warhammer 40k. But I'm pretty sure they've done more than just that and Combat Patrol. So yeah, so trying to find a copy is a bit of a pain, but the fact that I'm subscribed should probably tell you that I have a much greater opinion of this than the D&D Adventurer magazine, which I didn't really particularly like as such. I didn't feel the part work model worked particularly well for D&D. Just going to put my chair up a bit, there we go. So, yeah, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what Combat Patrol is, to the magazine and the mode, and some other things as well. Also as well, kudos to Warhammer, who I will be linking to. If I link any sites, it's not because I'm affiliated with them or anything like that, it's just because that's where I've got the information from. If I put, for example, like the H.Y.D.R.A. website in to the description, again, it's not because I'm trying to drive stuff there, it's just because I just feel that's the responsible thing to do, is if you want to click on the link, it's there. You know, credit to the artist and all that sort of thing. Anyway, so yeah, so what is Combat Patrol as a mode, first of all, because that's what the magazine is named after, and that's what it's about. So Combat Patrol as a mode is essentially a quasi, so thereabouts 500 points game. So in 40k, and well, in Warhammer in general, each model has a points value, and that contributes towards your budget. And Combat Patrol is pretty much around 500 points. Not all boxes are equal, like don't get dead on 500 points. And sometimes that might be why you have a box that has fewer models, but is still in a Combat Patrol box. But it's simply because those models are more powerful and they have a higher points value. So the idea with Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol magazine is basically you build up that box over the course of 90 issues. Now, well, let me rephrase. You're going to build up 9 Combat Patrols over the course of 90 issues. So the idea is that I think, from what I understand, every 10 issues you should have a complete Combat Patrol. So Combat Patrol as a mode is basically where you buy a box, someone else buys a box, you assemble them, you paint them, and you can play. And you don't need any other models. So you don't need to get like 2,000 points and list build and all the rest of it. It's pretty much just plug and play, essentially, to borrow a video game term. And so what they're trying to do here is with Combat Patrol Issue 1, it's going to focus on the Space Marines and the Tyranids. And you're going to build your Combat Patrol. Now the magazine is actually offering you a bit more than what the Combat Patrol mode on the 40k website does. Because a Combat Patrol box is £100 with Warhammer. And if an issue of Combat Patrol, the magazine, is £10 each, it's just about £10. You've got 9 issues, 10 issues. You're going to be spending about £100, but you're also getting some extra stuff as there just to add a little bit of value. And I think as well, in 10th edition, some of the Combat Patrols will get upgrades. So for example, with the Space Marine Combat Patrol, you get what you ordinarily would. You get your Space Marine Captain, your Librarian in Terminator armor, your Space Marine Captain in Terminator armor, your Librarian in Terminator armor. You get 5 Terminator Space Marines, and you also get 5 Infernus Marines, as well as an Infernus Sergeant. Included in that, rather, is an Infernus Sergeant. But, to give you some extra value, you also get a Primaris Chaplain on a bike. Chaos Space Marines. So their Combat Patrol has changed a bit, so you don't really get the cultists as such anymore. What you have is the 10 Chaos Space Marines, you have 5 Terminators, you have 5 Havocs, a Dark Apostle, I think, and you also get a Hellbrute thrown in as well. Word Bearers are pretty much the same, but they get a Forge Fiend. So again, it's just adding that extra little bit of value. Some of the combat patrols have changed. So, for example, instead of with the Astra Militarum, you still get the 2 artillery pieces, you get the Sentinel, the command squad, and 20 shock troopers. Instead of getting a Commissar, they've replaced it with 3 heavy gunners. So that's it works out a lot better, essentially. At least some of the armies do anyway. I mean, pretty much they're all a much better deal. For more information, you can read the Warhammer articles. One of them is from January, I believe. Let me just double check. But they did like a price breakdown of like how much the combat patrols are versus the individual models if you were to build up that army. For example, Gene Stealer cults. At the time, this was before the price hike of 2024. The total cost of the individual models was £214. If you wanted Atalan Jackals now, plus a combat patrol, it'd be 140 quid. And so the idea is that if you spend only 90 quid on the issues of the magazine, you'll save considerable. You save about 60 quid there, just from buying the magazine, as opposed to getting a combat patrol and the extra add-ons as well needed to make it up. So yeah. Oh yes. What else has changed? Let's have a look. Again, I'm going off the Warhammer website. I will link all this. Oh yes, Eldar as well, or the Eldari. You no longer have the Autarch in the combat patrol. Instead, you have 5 Wraithguard, which is pretty darn cool. So the 9 combat patrols that are listed are not on the back here, so that's what it comes in as the back as well, just telling you how things work. So you build, paint, read, collect and play, which is very much like part of every other sort of Warhammer philosophy thing, all colour-coded and easy to refer to, very much like a part work, which is good. Oh, in issue 2 as well, you get 3 Von Ryan's Leapers for £6.99, and given that a box of 3 is 31 quid, you can probably guess how good a deal that is. I will go more into the details as well as the goodies that you get here, but let me just try and find what I'm looking for. This here. So the 9 combat patrols they want to make, because they're not covering every single army. Oh dear. Let's have a look. Can I show it here? What does that look like? Not very good, but if I just zoom in a little bit, you can see this is what you're going to be able to make. All that, and you can probably see from the images as well, all the little things. So the combat patrols you'll be able to make are Space Marines, Tyranids, Votan, Legions of Votan, Eldari, Astra Militarum, Gene Stealer cults, Orcs, Chaos Space Marines, and World Eaters. Now, the reason why I think they're doing it this way is because, as far as I can tell, the roadmap, which is, if you've seen that embarrassing image, it's not really a roadmap. The roadmap for 40k is looking like that's what the armies are going to be. So I don't think it's actually planned that there's going to be a Drukhari, which is a combat patrol I really want to get. Like, if they did that, I'd be 100% on board with this. But I don't think there's going to be a Drukhari Codex anytime soon, so therefore they're not going to produce a combat patrol for it in the magazine. Whereas the World Eaters are getting a new Codex, probably by the end of 2025, I think. So they're going to get a combat patrol here. So I think they're doing it very much in line with the release schedule of the different armies that are coming out and whatnot. So yes, so that seems all pretty good. I think that's about it. Honestly, though, the savings do look very good, and H.Y.D.R.A Works have actually done a very impressive run of all their stuff. As soon as I could tell, they've actually finished every single thing they've put out. Even D&D Adventure magazine is going strong, despite an impending edition change. Age of Sigmar Stormbringer, I think, is on its final issue. I'm not sure. Let me have a look. How many issues is meant to be going on? Is it 80? It was originally, I think, speculated to be 80 issues for Combat Patrol. They're going to do 9. Probably with the addition of World Eaters getting their own bespoke box. How many issues? Yes, so 80 issues planned for Stormbringer, and I think they're on the last one, so it's no wonder that they're bringing out another one. But yeah, I saw that in W.H. Smith. Couldn't find Combat Patrol, but here we are. So yeah, okay. So I think we're just about ready to talk about the magazine itself, do a bit of a read. Oh, first of all, no, let's have a look at the goodies. So, included in this Combat Patrol issue 1, you get a Space Marine Captain in Terminator armour on a base. You get 2 40mm bases, I believe, a winged Tyranid Prime. You get 6 very plain black and white dice. And that's really it. You don't get any other things like the paints, brushes, sprue cutters, the mold line remover, anything like that. You get here a little thing, just saying, make sure you don't miss out every week at your newsagents. And then you say, dear newsagent, please reserve my copy of Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol. And they have actually called it Combat Patrol, not Dungeons and Dragons, like they did for Dungeons and Dragons Adventurer magazine. So yes. So yeah, so that's something that's included in the package there. What else have we got? We have here on the back of this poster included inside, we have details on the premium subscription. So each issue after, I believe, issue 2 is going to be £9.99 each. However, there's a premium subscription, so for every issue it costs an extra £2, so as opposed to paying £40, you're paying about £47 roughly, £48 roughly, and you will get different kits, and these are not essential for your Combat Patrol. So here you've got the Brutalis Dreadnought and the Hive Tyrant for your first package. For the second one you get the Howling Banshees and the Demon Prince, which can be used for both the World Eaters and the Chaos Space Marines. You also get some Killer Cans and Brokia Thunderkin, from what I can see. I actually don't know how to pronounce the Votan names. And then you also get a Rogel Dawn Battle Tank and a Brood Coven. And I really want the Brood Coven. I really want to build Gene Steelicles, and I suspect they're going to be right at the end of this series, which is a shame, because I do love Gene Steelicles. That's an army I really genuinely want to get. But perhaps that's for the best, because at least I can use these other models to practice. So, yes, so you've already seen some of the things. So, here we have a bit of an introductory page. So, welcome to Warhammer 40,000. Warhammer 40,000 is more than a game, more than a world, and more than a hobby. It's a worldwide phenomenon, and Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol is your chance to join in. Learn to play, discover the rich universe of Warhammer 40,000, and assemble 9 fully combat-ready armies across 90 action-packed issues. And I have to emphasise that the word there, because every single Warhammer advert ever has to have something said really, really angrily.
Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol, issue 1, $2.99.
Like the old Space Crusade advert on telly, it used to go, now with a new adventure pack!
Space Crusade, now with a new adventure pack.
You know, yeah, they just have to shout it. They do it at the end of this one as well. For Warhammer 40,000! So yeah. Subscriber gifts. If you are a subscriber and you subscribe from issues 1, 2, 3, and 4, you receive these 5 free gifts and 1 free issue until the 30th of November. They don't mention that here, but on the website, where are we? Here. They don't mention it, but it's until the 30th of November. So if you want these, you have to subscribe by then. And these will depend on your issue. So your first delivery is going to be the Clippers and Mold Line Remover. Your second delivery, I think, is going to be Brushes. Or it's going to be the Binders and Dividers. Then it's going to be, I think, 2 deliveries later, it's going to be your Combat Patrol Mug. Then it's going to be your Brushes, and then I think another 2 deliveries later, it's the Primaris Company Champion, which is an out-of-print model. In addition to the other sprues that you're going to get as well, you're going to get paints. You might get some brushes, maybe a technical tool to apply technical paints. As well as Take Command, make managing battles simpler with Battlefield Essential cards, included in select issues of Combat Patrol. These cards are designed to make setting up and gaming easy. Some include datasheets for your models, letting you get their rules at a glance, while others make for vital rules references, easy-to-use scenery pieces. And you've got a QR code to subscribe now. Take command of elite armies in the grim darkness of the far future with Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol. Build armies of stunning miniatures, paint them, and learn how to use them in battle. Collect 9 complete game-ready combat patrol forces across 90 issues, from the indomitable SPESS Marines!
Space Marines!
To the sinister Tyranid Swarm. Return of the Silver Templars. Delve into the background of the Silver Templar SPESS Marines, with new stories and explorations of these masterful duelists. Learn how these warriors fight, and read about their greatest battles, with plenty of new, never-before-seen content found first in this collection. Ooh. So it tells you here as well that you can build, paint, read, collect, assemble, and play on the this side here. What's that yellow one? Paint, yeah. Yes, build, paint, read, collect, and play. And it tells you as well what you're going to get. So it gives you instructions. It tells you what the first 3 paints are going to be that they include. So 3 base paints for Macragge Blue, Wraithbone, and I think it's Baroknar Burgundy. I'm not entirely sure of what that one was called. They have little bits of lore entries for the armies that you're collecting. You will eventually one day get a new Infernus Marine Sergeant, which is nice. And you'll also, included in the issues as well, are your rules as well. The pieces not to scale, and items may vary as well. So that image I showed you earlier, I'll put it up on screen as well. Things may change, so just be wary of that. If they do, I'll try and keep you informed, provided of course I'm still collecting these. Combat Patrol is a fast-paced, easy-to-learn way to play Warhammer 40,000. This collection gives you 9 Combat Patrol forces to build and battle with, plus bonus models for each, from hordes of alien monstrosities to super soldiers enhanced by dark sorcery. No 2 Combat Patrols play the same! And yeah, eventually you get paint brushes and paints as well. They will not sell primer. It's very unlikely they will actually have the spray can. And finally here we get the poster, which is basically the Ultimate Edition poster. It's a very big boy. It's quite cool. I like it. I like that a lot. It's cool. I'd actually hang that up on my wall. These things never go back the way they want to. Ah, there we are. So, that's close enough. Yeah, so that's one of the goodies inside. You also get as well, what else have we got here? Even more promotional hats. Special subscription offer: buy issue 2 and receive issue 3 for free, plus fantastic free gifts. It's not really free, is it, if you're getting the... oh no, actually you are getting that. You are getting the sprue cutters and mold line remover. But the premium gifts are not exactly free, as they say on the website, because you've got to pay extra for them. So deliver to your door issue 2 with your 3 Von Ryan's Leapers, free issue 3 with your 5 Infernus Marines. So 10 Infernus Marines is about 30 or 40 quid, I want to say. So getting 5, and that's all you need for a combat patrol, is pretty good. And from what I understand, they are quite effective against Tyranids as well. Issue 3, when you subscribe from issue 2, you'll get issue 3 for free. It contains 5 Infernus Marines. You will eventually get the Citadel modelling kits, that's the sprue cutters and the model line remover. They also do actually tell you, I like this as well, that in the magazine, which we're going to read very shortly, honestly, trust me, they will have, they actually do tell you to remove the model lines and whatnot. Hopefully they tell you how to drill barrel holes as well, because I'm always, because I haven't done it much, but I've done it very badly. The few times I have, my veteran guardsman for my kill team, yeah, no. You will get Citadel brushes, so eventually you will get with your 4th delivery, you'll get the layer, base, and dry brush. You get an exclusive mug. Enjoy a hot drink in this unique Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol mug while painting your models. Do not use this for your paints. Do not. You will drink from it. Trust me. You will. I mean, I've just preferred to drink paint from the pot. It just saves the trouble, you know? Primaris Company Champion Miniature. Company Champions are some of those skilled fighters among the SPESS Marines. They single out the strongest enemies and defeat them in deadly duels. There, so I had to finish that sentence. And I do like as well that they have free postage packaging for UK subscribers as well. So you're paying about a tenner per issue and whatnot, and at least you cut out the cost there. But I think as well, go on, Forbidden Planet, I want to say, is doing a deal, I think, with Warhammer for affiliate links and whatnot. So if you want to get some deals there to get the magazines and you can pay the postage and packaging, you can get it cheaper. But you know, make sure you read up on all that sort of stuff before you just go ahead with what I say. And if you take out a premium subscription, you get for just £2 extra per issue. So bear in mind you're paying about an extra £8. You'll receive 4 premium sets to grow your armies, should you want to. I'm not entirely bothered about them, to be honest. I really don't want Eldar. So the Howling Banshees are amazing models. I'm not gonna lie. See, this is the thing. Like, Games Workshop really do need to promote their Xenos armies, because I love some of the Eldar models. I really do, but I ain't gonna play them. But yeah, just like, I'm looking at the Howling Banshees. I'm like, maybe I could get those. Maybe I'd be alright with them. Maybe I could like Eldar, So yeah, Demon Prince Rebel Dawn tank and the Brood Coven. I do actually need the Brood Coven for my Termination Kill Team box that is still there and in my pile of shame. Right, I think it's about time that I moved on to one more goodie as well. I do like this as well. They include a sort of cardboard battle mat here as well. So I do like this. So you get this sort of industrial looking one here, and you get a rocky. You can't quite see in this light, but you get like a rocky planet with alien plant life, which is nice. I have to hand it to Hachette Artworks. Hachette Artworks, I think, is a completely different thing. Probably Drukhari, knowing all look. Yeah, they do a really good add-on like this. It's nice material. I mean, it's okay. It'll do the job. But like they did with the D&D Adventure magazine, they did the map of Phandalin, and I thought that's really good. Nice and solid. I can actually use this. I can put this on a table. I know it's actually going to last and not scuff too much and whatnot. So that's good. That said, I don't like those for a permanent solution. I would prefer to have the sort of hardboard ones. I've actually bought off Vinted. Someone was selling the hardboard battle mats because I want them to actually be sturdy. I don't want models like sort of like on a sort of tilt because of where the cardboard's up and down a bit. I don't like that. But anyway, let's get into Combat Patrol. First of all, the blurb. So here you can see Combat Patrol. In issue 2, you're going to get the magazine with the Tyranid on the front. You're going to get the 3 Von Ryan's Leapers. And then in issue 3 as well, you're going to get the First Marines and the Battlefield Essentials cards. I don't know if they have anything else on the back. On the back of them, if it's just terrain, but who knows. There might be rules for the terrain on the back. But yeah, hopefully that terrain actually does something. Some environmental rules would be good. This is what I don't like about this, though, here, the blurb. So okay, like, let's say, for example, here, at the bottom, I guess, like, the sort of tagline here at the bottom is, build your first models, discover Warhammer 40,000, play your first game. Nice and easy, tells you what it's all about. You probably won't be able to read that at first, though, because the sprue is in a plastic bag and it covers it there. Not to mention the dice and the bases as well. But on the back here, we've got, for Combat Patrol, issue 2, coming soon. Sorry, coming soon! The new adventure pack! Unleash the Swarm. Okay. Discover the Deadly Tyranids. Nice, even though we've kind of already done it in this issue. Fight with units. Fight with units. That's just Warhammer, isn't it? Combat Patrol. 5 Infernus Marines. Okay, so because they've got the flamethrowers, naturally you're going to burn your foes. Explore the Space Marines. Move and shoot. Now, if that's talk about the rules of moving and shooting, fine, fair enough. It just doesn't really sound all that inspiring. Move and shoot. Again, that's Warhammer 40k. I'm just being a pedant at this point. I do apologise. I can't help it. So, let's have a look at Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol's first issue. So inside, I'm going to read the this bit here on the left. So, Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol. Welcome to Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol. In this series, you'll discover 9 complete combat patrol armies, and learn to build and paint and play with each of them in a series of informative and easy to understand guides and tutorials. Your journey begins with 2 champions, the heroic captain in Terminator armor and the alien winged Tyranid Prime, alongside handy introductory guides and more. Signed, Rich. Now it says here signed Rich, but they don't appear to be on the credits. So I don't know who this rich person is. Is that actually just Rick Priestley? Or no, that's obviously someone else. So yes, it doesn't appear as though there is a Rich here. I certainly hope they actually do articles and interviews, or maybe even talk with their Hachette staff as well, because that'd be good. But yeah, straight into how to build. Again, I really do apologise for the image quality and the text here, and it's not going to be very clear, but I'll try and show you, and then I'll put it up on screen as well in post. How to build the basics. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to build Warhammer miniatures and their separate components, which are supplied on plastic frames called sprues. Clipper safety. Keep fingers away from the blades and hinge to avoid injury. Ask an adult for help if unsure. You know, there are many times when I do need adult supervision, so, to be honest, so I'm glad they put that there. And it tells you about the instructions and whatnot. So, 1. To build Warhammer miniatures, follow these build guides. This will take you step by step through assembly. Build guides will match the component numbers to the plastic sprue for quick reference. Show alternative options the miniatures may have, and give tips for assembly. You also need a pair of clippers and a mold line remover. Some miniatures you receive will also require glue. Please note, plastic glue is not available as part of this collection, where it's easy to purchase from your Warhammer store. Scan this QR code or find your nearest retailer. So I think the QR code actually takes you to the find your nearest store page anyway, so that's not too bad. So, 2. Hold your clippers like this. Then squeeze the handles together to clip them. Safety is key when using your clippers. Keep your fingers away from the blades! 3. The clippers have a flat and angled sides. When clipping your models, try to get the flat side of models as close to the part as you are clipping out. Again, I like that they're talking about the very, very basic fundamentals here. That's good. If you use the wrong side of the clippers, you will leave a chunk of plastic attached to the part, as seen here. You can clip this off with the flat part of your clippers. So it's nice that they're actually explaining the process here, which is here and here. Apologise as well, you saw my manky fingernail. Don't go back to pause it, please. No. Not doing yourself any favours. Anyway, they also have here assembly guide instructions. So yes. So push fits. This sprue uses pegs that push together. Glue not required. This sprue has been designed so it does not require glue. Tools required. Tools, usually clippers, are needed. Detailed view. Another view that provides clarity about how components should look at when assembled. Complete assembly, a finished view of the model. When using your mold line remover, hold it firmly in the grip shown to the right. Mold lines are thin strips of surface plastic. To remove, gently scrape the mold line remover against it shown to the right. Also tells about color coding as well. The parts of your build highlighted blue are sub-assembly of components fitted in the previous step. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, I did actually have some trouble with the assembly of the Tyranid Wing Prime, which is a stark contrast to the Termagants in the introductory starter set, which just came together so nicely. They really did. They were the fastest thing I've ever assembled. Granted, they were pushed to fit, but the point still stands. You know, they're really quick, and they are fairly uniform as well. So yeah, tells you about glue. Glue safety, only use it in a well-ventilated area. Read the safety instructions on your glue before use. Lord knows that it reeks. When I use glue, by the way, if you're new to Combat Patrol, you're assembling models, I strongly recommend, rather than getting super glue, especially because it can get everywhere, it's not exactly precise, unless it's using a needle, even then it can get clogged up. I recommend a brand called Tamiya extra thin cement or super thin cement. And basically it is glue, but it comes on like a brush, and what it does is, rather than like just stick things together, it actually fuses the plastic together to guarantee that extra strength. But it is hard to disassemble if you want to remove it. So, but it's more precise. I prefer working with Tamiya, but Christ, does it stink. It really does. Some models need glue before applying, so don't put too much glue on. And it tells you as well that they're using Citadel here. You only need to apply a thin layer of glue to the part you're attaching, as shown here in this example. Once you have applied glue to the part, press it firmly against the part you were joining for a few seconds. After a few minutes, the glue will dry and the pieces will be firmly joined together, as seen here. I thought I'd give you some examples. So again, really, really nice stuff. And it gives you the instructions on the... oh dear, the first page has come off. Oh dear. But that's okay, because it's very thin glue. It's meant to be put in a binder, and I'm getting the binder later anyway. So there you have the instructions for the Captain Terminator armor. I like as well that here, these instructions are exactly the same as you would have in a Warhammer in a box. In fact, inside a combat patrol, they'd be exactly the same as how they look here. And then you get here as well the Wing Tyranid Prime instructions as well. It tells you how to do. This model was a pain for me to put together because I couldn't really tell where anything went. But I did it in the end, but a little bit badly. Some of the things didn't stick together, so what I'm going to make it look like is it's got some wounds, as if it's like it's just been stabbed by the power sword. Maybe you've actually put a bit of gore on that power sword. But the question is, what colour do Tyranids bleed? Purple? I've got some Tesseract glow. Tesseract blow. That's something else. That was during the flesh times of the Necrontyr. Welcome to the 41st Millennium. So we're getting straight into the lore now. Amidst an ongoing battle, Space Marines drive you to fight to drive back the nightmarish forces of chaos. Excuse me 1 second, I was wrong. There we are. We got a lot more reading to do now, so I need to be able to wet my whistle. The galaxy burns as colossal battleships duel in the heavens above. Armies on countless words battle for resources, glory, or simply survival. Hope, enlightenment, and progress have been scoured away by the flames of endless conflict. All that remains is hatred, rage, and war on an unimaginable scale. It is the 41st Millennium. Who's that lady who does all the intros to, like, the Sabaton songs? Because I played 2 games now where she's voice acted. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord and Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun. And I played those games back to back and I was like, Jesus, is there any game this lady isn't in? She's a great voice actor, but yeah, I needed to do the narration of this. I think you should actually do more 40k stuff. I think it should be great. Anyway, I don't know her name. I apologise. So yes, it is the 41st Millennium, and humanity stands on the brink of annihilation. For thousands of years, the Imperium of man has claimed supremacy over the galaxy, but it is beset on all sides by threats. On the fringes of the Imperium, ancient and arrogant alien empires battle to reclaim their long-lost dominions, eradicating entire planets with incomprehensible technologies. Within the Imperium's heart, darkness takes root, as cults and mutant sects tempt the masses with promises of freedom and power. Meanwhile, beyond reality itself, nightmarish demons and long-damned traitors prepare to invade. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. So this is Imperium 01 on the side there. I don't know if it's meant to be Imperium, because the Imperium magazine, or if it's meant to be Combat Patrol. Or maybe it is actually... oh no, it is. Yes, Imperium 01. And then on the next page you've got Space Marines 01, and then you've got Tyranids 01 after that. Okay, my apologies. So, on the next page, let's just try and separate that page a little bit. We've got here the 3 main, I guess, categories of army. The Imperium. The Imperium is brutal and warlike empire that claims the entire galaxy for mankind. The life of every single Imperial citizen is dedicated utterly to war and worship of the God Emperor. The Imperium has unnumbered armies, from the vast regiments of the Astra Militarum to the legendary Space Marines. Chaos. In the 41st Millennium, all emotion has a psychic echo. Millennia of hate, fear, annihilation, and despair and desire have coalesced into chaos, a reality-warping force of terrifying power. Many mortals worship the Chaos Gods in exchange for their sanity and their souls, and in turn they are gifted with dark and sinister powers. Xenos! Many great and terrible alien empires also claim dominion over the galaxy. The ancient Necrons, who don't have a combat patrol, for example, are immortal machines whom the laws of physics are mere playthings, while the warlike Orcs transform entire star systems into wastelands of scrap metal. The Tau, who also don't have a combat patrol in this series, are technologically advanced pioneers who use diplomacy as much as brute force, while the mysterious H.Y.D.R.A possess the power to predict the future with incredible accuracy. And here we have now our lore entry on the SPESS MEHREENS, the Angels of Death. I am going to be doing my Indrid Boreal voice a lot. Today the enemy is at our door. Well, I actually can't do a really good impression, but what the hell. Yes. The Angels of Death are the Space Marines. In fact, the Angels of Death term, I think, actually came from the first codex with the Dark Angels and Blood Angels. And that's sort of how it sort of stuck. I'm not sure if it was actually Rogue Trader before them. Anyway. But it is quite appropriate. They are the Emperor's Angels. Anyway. A force of Space Marines raise its banners over a soon-to-be-conquered foe. That's the caption for the art. No regular human could hope to stand against the endless horrors that beset mankind, but the SPESS MEHREENS are no regular humans. These warriors are demigods of war, enhanced by ancient gene alchemy, and the Imperium's finest technology, become the greatest army humanity has ever known. A SPESS MEHREEN is the ultimate warrior. Ruthlessly selected and trained from an early age, SPESS MEHREENS are remade through countless surgical and genetic enhancements. These warriors are stronger, faster, and smarter than the very best of unaugmented warriors. Unarmed, a SPESS MEHREEN is deadly enough, but clad in a suit of mechanized power armor, he is a living tank, capable of punching through rockcrete, sprinting at terrifying speeds, and walking through enemy fire unharmed. For the SPESS MEHREENS, duty is all. Those warriors never rest. Their lives are dedicated to warfare, living as warrior monks in tightly knit brotherhoods. It is these bonds, even more than their incredible abilities, that make the SPESS MEHREENS so deadly. When war calls, a SPESS MEHREEN strike force is like a single armoured fist. They strike without warning in a fusillade of explosive fire and hammering blows. As speeders scream through the skies above and tanks lay down covering fire below, the SPESS MEHREEN infantry surge forwards, falling upon their enemies with a relentless fury. Any that stand in their path are incinerated, blown apart and smashed aside by the armoured fists of the agents of death, or the Angels of Death. And so it tells you here as well a little bit about their doctrine. So, combat squads. We also have quote of the day as well, or thought of the day. The previous one here was the keenest blade is a righteous hatred. So you got that there. I do love these. I used to actually write the thought of the day for work every day. I think the last one I did was the flesh is weak but deeds endure. And here we have choose your sword with wisdom, wield your sword with fury. So yeah, that's some good ones. I think my favourite quote was from Warhammer Siege. I think there were 2 publications of that, and I'm not sure which one it's in. I don't think it's in the one that I've got, because that was for fantasy. Anyway, combat squads. Within a SPESS MEHREEN force, each squad is trained and equipped to master a specific role in the battlefield. Some operate as stealthy infiltrators, assassinating key targets and spreading havoc before fading into the background. Others are equipped for rapid insertion, teleporting directly into the heart of the fight, clad in impenetrable plating. I've got a caption here as well. The Space Marines stand as an immovable bulwark against an endless tide of Tyranids. So, it do get some really cool artwork as well. I certainly hope they'll actually have some photographs of their own rather than just taking them from Games Workshop's website. I mean, maybe they actually have. or maybe Games Workshop are taking the photos exclusively for them. But yeah, when they do some photos, they do them really good. And sometimes as well, I like how they make the bases look as well. So it's like you barely notice the bases, and they make a very iconic scene. The angels descend. Space Marine commanders tailor their forces to be as deadly as possible. Every squad works to the support of others, as heavy gunners suppress foes at extreme range, combat troops with revving chain swords and crackling power blades advance forth to finish the job. The Space Marine army is aided by war machines. Tanks fire the heaviest weaponry, while towering dreadnoughts crash headlong into enemy lines under salvo of gunfire. I certainly hope they go into the more grim, dark things as well, like, you know, what is a dreadnought? Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah. And, yeah, that'd be nice. Anyway, Tyranids, the Devouring Swarm. A Tyranid invasion swarm teams across the surface of a doomed world, ready to devour anything in their path. This Tyranid is of the, I should have said as well, the Space Marines of the Ultramarine chapter in this book. I'm going to be painting mine at Blood Ravens. So I will be using the Mini of the Month I painted at Doncaster for their Warhammer store. The Space Marine Scout, I'll be painting them as Blood Raven, and then I'll do the Captain as well. The reason why I'm doing that is because originally I made a Blood Ravens 7th Company Squad 4 kill team, the Intercessor kill team. But now I'm actually going to make the entire 7th Reserve Battle Line Company. Because they have their own lore and whatnot. Because I'm a narrative player, so I have my lore for the 7 Sleepers, even though the Intercessor kill team only has 6 members. But never mind. So yes, now I actually, with this combat patrol, I can actually make a combat patrol for the 7th Squad of the Blood Ravens, which 7th Company of the Blood Ravens, which is nice. So yeah, I will be giving them my spaces as well. If I edit this video after I've painted the models, I'll share what the models look like. I am only a novice painter though. I have not been in the hobby very long, and I don't get much time per night to really practice. I think I get about 2 hours a night, and so I spend about 6-8 hours a week on the hobby, and I try to get one model done a night, so that's probably why my models aren't the greatest. But yeah, oh, I've got to drill the barrels on the Space Marine Captain as well. We shall see how this goes tonight. I don't really want to rush it all that much, to be honest. I want to actually try my best with it, but wait and see. So Tyranids, the Devouring Swarm. The Tyranids are perhaps the single greatest threat to life in the 41st millennium. They are an endless swarm of biologically adapted killers connected by a singular intellect known as the hive mind. Every planet they conquer is transformed into a bare husk, its biomass used to make more Tyranids. The Tyranids are an alien swarm from beyond the galaxy. Where other forces dominate through training and technology, the Tyranids use biological adaptation. From their tentacled battleships to their insectile ammunition, everything the Tyranids use is grown and bred to be as lethal as possible. To a terrified outsider, a Tyranid army appears as a swarm of countless clawed organisms, tearing and ripping through the foe with animal ferocity. The truth is far darker. Every Tyranid organism is an appendage of a vast and unknowable hive mind, from the hulking Tyrannosaurus down to the lowliest chittering termagant. With every battle, the hive mind adapts the Tyranids to better slay and consume its enemies. Tyranids are really cool. I like Tyranids. Towering horrors. The largest Tyranid bioforms are truly terrifying to behold. Some act as biological artillery, loosing swarms of biting insects or pulses of bioplasma to scour the battle. Scour their foes. Others stride into battles, scything down ranks of infantry with horrific ease. The greatest Tyranid war organisms... Come on. Warganism was right there. Wield nightmarish psychic powers that drive their victims to madness and terror. Brave are they who know everything, yet fear nothing, is another quote there. And we've got another caption here. A Tyranid swarm teams across the surface of a doomed world, ready to devour anything in their path. Notice as well how, in this picture, there, in the bottom here, there aren't actually any other forces. You got the Space Marines in the previous one, but yeah, and you got this cool dude here as well. which I don't think is part of the box, of the combat patrol. But anyway, there's some cool stuff there. I think actually at the bottom you do actually get everything there. Near enough. And now we have the collect side. So here we have not just our models, we also have the captain as well. So here's a captain painted the Ultramarine style. I'm going to be doing Blood Ravens. Blood Ravens, to me! Today the enemy is at our door. So that's the captain in Terminator armor. And Space Marine captains lead from the front. Each has a veteran of decades or even centuries of battle, having proven their skill in battle time and time again. Clad in 9 impregnable Terminator armor, a Space Marine captain commands his troops with skill, even as he dives into brutal melee with the deadliest foes. And now, it's really cool actually here that they have I don't know if this is actually part of the main game, 40k. Because I'm a kill team player first and foremost, but I'm someone who wants to now get into combat patrol because it's been made a lot more accessible. No, that's not the right term. It's been made cheaper. I'm going to do that, I think. So this is kind of cool. So here we have a D6 naming table. So you roll a D6 or a 6-sided dice, and on a roll of 1 to 2, you get the result name of Lucian. This captain is a veteran of the Tyranid Wars and seeks personal revenge on the Tyranids. On a result of 3 or 4, you get the name Marius. This captain is coldly logical, placing each sword blow with calculated precision. On a 5 or 6, this captain studies his foes carefully and ensures that he knows their weakness, and his name is Caius. Naming your units helps you tell a story about them in battle. Roll a d6 on the table above to generate the background, and name your Space Marine captain. And then you also have deeds as well. So this is part of like the Battle Honours program that Warhammer has. So when you go to Warhammer store, if you're new, you get Battle Honours, and that's where you. I don't know if only young people can do it or not. I don't know if it's for people over 18 or whatever. But basically, the idea is once you like come into the store, you buy a model, you build it, paint it, and play it. You can mark it off, and you get like commemorative coins and whatnot. So mark off these deeds as you complete them. So build. Assemble your captain in Terminator armor. So I've already done that, so I can tick that off. Paint it. Paint your captain in Terminator armor. I haven't done that, we're going to do it tonight. And play. Play with your captain in Terminator armor. And then you've got your deeds there at the bottom. That's good. So it's a nice little log that you've got there for your combat patrol. And then we turn over as well, we've got the data sheet. This is a data sheet where all the information needed to use your unit in games of combat patrol is recorded. You'll receive a data sheet for each unit in the Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol collection. Don't worry if this appears overwhelming to you. You'll learn how to use data sheets in a future issue. Until then, file it away. So we have a look at this, and this is so the data sheet is basically like the stat block or the stats for your character. I'm not gonna lie, I can't make heads or tails of it. I say that like I'll try and give it a go. M, I'm guessing is movement because it's 5 inches, so I imagine he can move 5 inches at a time. T is toughness 5. SV is save, so 2+ and then 4+ invulnerable save. W is wounds. LD is leadership, so 6+, and OC. I don't know. It's gone out of my mind. Anyway, combat patrol data sheet. Space Marine captains are expected to combat patrol data sheet. Space Marine captains are expected to fight from the front, and few kinds of armor enable them to do so as effectively as Terminator plates. This captain goes to battle clad in just a mighty suit of armor, shrugging off the worst his enemies can hurl at him before carving them apart with his ancient relic blade. And it tells you here the stats as well. So he's got a Storm Bolter, Rapid Fire 2, a range of 24 inches, attacks 2, ballistic skill 2+, S, I'm guessing, is... I don't think it's save, is it? Because it would be SV. Could be save. 4, AP, so action points 0, and D, damage 1. Okay, and his melee weapon has a range of melee. His relic weapon is a power sword. So he has a wound save of weapon skill, of 2+, S 5, AP is -2, and damage is 2. Leader, this model can be attached to the following unit, Terminator Squad. And there is a Terminator Squad coming up in Combat Patrol. I don't know which issue it's going to be. I imagine it's going to be, I think it's issue 5, maybe? Because issue 2 is going to be Von Ryan's Leapers for the Tyranids. Issue 3 is going to be the Infernus Squad. Issue 4 is going to be paint, so you get 3 paints for that. And a brush as well. Only the starter set brush, though. Which I'm used to using, so I'm okay with that. And then issue 5 is probably going to be the Terminator Squad, I imagine. I'm not entirely sure. Abilities, Deep Strike and Leader, Faction, Oath of Moment. I think that means faction ability. Unstoppable Valor. You can re-roll charge rolls made for this model's unit. Keywords, Infantry, Character, Imperium, Terminator Captain. Faction keywords, Adeptus Astartes. Or SPESS Marines. What is Combat Patrol? Now, they've waited this long to actually have a box here that says, what is Combat Patrol? Right at the bottom there. What is Combat Patrol? We're going to find out. Combat Patrol is the quickest and simplest way to start collecting and play a Warhammer 40,000. In games of Combat Patrol, 2 players command a compact army of miniatures in tactical clashes. Every faction has a Combat Patrol, a set Combat Patrol, and you receive 9 of them in this collection. What you need to do is choose your faction, assemble your miniatures, and prepare for war. And now we have the Winged Tyranid Prime. Every Tyranid attack force is coordinated by synapse creatures, carriers that transmit the horrifying psychic will of the hive mind to lesser organisms. Tyranid Primes are swift and deadly synapse beasts who swoop across the battlefield, descending to coordinate attacks and to slaughter key prey. We also have the D6 naming table here as well, so on a roll over the 6-sided dice, I roll a 1 or 2. Being in the presence of this Tyranid Prime fills its victims' minds with visions of pure terror. His name, Subject 45. On a roll of 3 or 4, this Tyranid Prime has an uncanny ability to identify and hunt down enemy commanders. And his name is the Archaven Horror. On a D6 roll of 5 or 6, you get the description of the claws of this Tyranid Prime dip with hypertoxic venom. His name is the Stig! No, he's the Shifting Shadow. Some say that his claws drip with hypertoxic venom. And the being in his presence fills your mind with visions of pure terror. All we know is he's called Specimen 45. I like that name. I think I might have to go with that one. But I don't know, because maybe my darling dearest is getting the wing. Maybe we're getting the Tyranids. Because this is actually the way I think Combat Patrol, this magazine, should probably be bought. If you're going to split the cost with someone. Kind of like when you split a box with someone, they have one half of it and you keep the other half. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I want the Space Marines, and I noticed as well, actually, like, I guess it's Robert's theory of Tyranids, that I noticed that a lot of ladies play Tyranids as well. I don't know if it's because of, like, the Battle for Macragge or the Leviathan box or the Ultimate Starter set. Does a lady particularly want to play a Space Marine, a bold dude, and his other armored dudes, or do they want to play Tyranids? Maybe that's just how it is. It's like the dude, like the bloke's just like, no, I'm having Space Marines. These are mine. These are my cool dudes. All right, these are my manly models, my manly men, and you can have the aliens. Yeah, I think that's how it works, to be honest, with a lot of players. But I don't know. Then again, actually, I think Tyranids do actually have like a lot of like matriarchal and sort of like. Yeah, because they have Norn queens and things like that, don't they? So yeah, I think that's, who knows, maybe appeals to the female fantasy. So yes, Tyranids do not name themselves, but the most dangerous of their number are named by their enemies. Roll the d6 on the table above to name your model. And then you do the same with your deeds. Build, paint, and play them. So my Space Marine Captain is primed in Chaos Black. I've used some... not PVA. What's the brand? I don't know. PV. I don't know. I've primed his base in grey as well because I want to go for a more Arctic theme. So we'll see how that goes. But I've primed this in some high coat white, I think. So we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, I'm not going to wait until I've got the paints. I'm going to paint them in the starter set paints, so like the that purple that you get, or maybe even like the army paint of purple that I got, the speed paint. Hive Dweller purple, I think it's called. So I might do that. And use the Wraith Bone as well. But we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, so I want to paint that and then give it to my darling dearest. Or, because I'm subscribed, she's going to get her own magazine anyway, so she can have that. But yes. Anyway, a data sheet. This is your data sheet. So again, similar thing. And again, it has this page here. What is Combat Patrol? So they've done the exact same thing here. It seems a bit unnecessary having it here. But anyway, I don't know. Maybe they'll reprint the data sheets and whatnot. Who knows? And besides, these rules here might end up being outdated anyway, so, as is the case with many Warhammer rules. So, Winged Tyranid Prime. So here's the data sheet that we've got. Its movement is 12 inches, its toughness is 5, its save is 4+, its wounds are 6, its leadership is 7+, and its OC is 1. It only has melee weapons. Prime Talons, range melee, attack 6, wound save 2+, S is 6, AP is -1, damage is 2. Okay. Keywords: Infantry, Character, Fly, Great Devourer, Synapse, Vanguard Invader, Winged Tyranid Prime. Its faction keyword is Tyranids. A Tyranid Prime possesses all the physical and synaptic might of an alpha war beast, while also boasting the frightening speed and maneuverability imparted by its huge leathery wings. Swooping down into the midst of the foe, it rends and tears until naught remains but corpses and fleeing prey. Its core ability is Deep Strike, Faction, Shadow of the Warp, Synapse, Death Blow. If this model is destroyed by a melee attack, if it is not fought this phase, roll 1d6. On a 4+, do not remove it from play. The destroyed model can fight after the attacking unit has finished making its attacks, and then is removed from play. Oh boy. Oh no. All of a sudden, I don't want to play Space Marines. No. And now we're at the play components of the magazine. Welcome to Warhammer 40,000. The Space Marines have been called to war. Following garbled reports of a hideous threat, an elite force of Terminators have been dispatched to a remote outpost. However, alien technology has disrupted the Terminators' teleportation transponders, stranding their captain in the lair of a terrifying Tyranid leader beast. Prime threat identified. Designation Tyranid Prime. Cleanse directive approved. Move to purge the alien with due fury. A game like no other. I doubt that very much. Warhammer 40,000 is a game of epic battles in the far future, fought between armies chosen by you. You've built your models, you've learned a little bit about their background, and now it's time to see them fight. Over the next few pages, you'll get to fight your first Warhammer 40,000 battle with a duel between a captain in Terminator armor and the Winged Tyranid Prime. You'll learn the basics of the game through this battle, see how units attack each other in close combat. Only the beginning. This is just the start of your journey. Over the next few issues, you'll learn the core elements of playing Warhammer 40,000, building to full-scale games involving entire armies with monsters, war machines, psychers, and more. Ooh. Oh yes, because there's going to be a librarian, isn't there? So that'll be fun. Core concepts. Here we have the first page here. Warhammer 40,000 allows you to experience the awe-inspiring scale and depth of combat in the 41st millennium on your tabletop. In this guide, you'll learn some of the core concepts that underpin the game, what your units are, how to roll dice, and most importantly, how to know when a model is destroyed. Okay, that's inspiring. Models and units. When you play Warhammer 40,000, the models in your collection are organised into units. A unit can consist of a single model, such as leader or champion, or a group of models that have similar equipment or tactics. I see now. So when I said earlier, fight with units, my apologies again, pedantry, I was not only being pedantic, I was also being wrong. Confidently incorrect indeed. The Space Marine Captain in Terminator armor is a unit consisting of a single model. The Tyranid Termagants form a single unit made up of 10 models. If you can see that there. So you've got the Tyranids there. So there's 10 models consisting of one unit. Or rather, one unit consisting of 10 models. And here we have one model consisting of one unit. Now, because the Space Marine Captain can be attached to a Terminator squad, that is one model that is still joining one unit, but now it's one unit. So it's 6 models in one unit. But for the purpose of this, the Tyranid Wing Prime and the Captain are one unit. Dice rolls. Anything can happen in the heat of a battle. To represent this in Warhammer 40,000, the outcomes of many actions your models make, such as shooting and fighting, are determined by the roll of one or more dice. So, all dice rolls use 6-sided dice, known as D6. Sometimes you'll need to roll... I do like that they say that. I will say that right now, I do like that. Because sometimes games can get bogged down in terminology, and not everyone knows what a D6 is, or a D20 and whatnot. Even in this day and age, now every day there's going to be one person who is new to the hobby who doesn't know what these terms mean. So I think that's good. So sometimes you need to roll more than one dice. For example, 2d6 means you'll roll 2 6-sided dice. You will often need to roll equal to or higher than a certain number. For example, 3+ means you need to roll 3, 4, 5, or 6 to succeed. Sometimes you may need to roll a d3 instead of a d6. In that case, roll a 6-sided dice and halve the result, rounding up as shown to the right. Okay, so rolling a d3 is here. Let me just get that there. Gotta get it closer. Where the focus? There we are. So, the dice result, if you roll a 1 or a 2, on a d3, so a 3-sided dice, that's a 1. If you roll a 3 or a 4, that's a 2. If you roll a 5 or a 6, that's a 3. So yeah, I don't like D3, to be honest. I don't like any of that sort of halving down. I don't like that, but you know, I just like to look at something face value and know what it does. But that's not necessarily just a criticism for 40k. It's games that do it in general, and there are quite a few that do it. Anyway, and then we have here a caption. This Infernus Marine has received 2 wounds, so it's been destroyed. Destroyed model. When a model has taken damage equal to or more than its wounds characteristic, it is destroyed and removed from battle. You can cause the wounds markers to track how... You can use the wounds wound markers to track how much damage a model has suffered. So there you are. So you can see here, this model in red has got 2 wound markers, and you got these here who are fine. So that's good. And the wound markers, I think, are at the back, and you can cut them out. Anyway, so now we're on to mission 1. Here we go. So it shows you the map that you're going to be playing on, where your characters are going to be, and yeah, pretty good. Pretty much it. Good stuff. Mission 1, First Strike. Mission Briefing. In this mission, you'll fight a duel between the Captain in Terminator armor and the Winged Tyranid Prime. You'll use dice to determine who wins the duel and who is slain. Win or lose, your rolls will tell a thrilling story. Follow the steps on the next 2 pages. You can play this battle on your own, or have a friend make the rolls for the Tyranid Prime. Deployment. To deploy for this battle, first place your battle mat on a flat surface, preferably somewhere you won't be disturbed, and with room for you to also place the next issue, next to the battlefield. Next, place your models in the center of the board, with their bases touching as seen below. Make sure your dice are close to hand. With that, you're ready to go. How to win. The battle ends immediately when one model is slain. Both the Winged Tyranid Prime and Captain and Terminator armor models have wounds characteristic of 6. Wait, check. 6 and 6. Yes, they do. Okay. I'm not seeing if there is an error. I'm just wondering, for the case of the scenario, is that the case? So it's good that they're referring back to the data sheets that you've already got. This means that they are... So yes. Both the Winged Tyranid... Yeah, so that means they are slain and removed from the table when they have lost 6 or more wounds. Keep playing until one model has slain the other, at which point turn to the final page. Forging a narrative. I do like this. I'm primarily a narrative player. I basically need a reason to do everything. In Warhammer, I can't go without a story, without experience points and gear and leveling up all the rest of it. I like to build a legend for things, so yeah. So I'm okay with forging a narrative here. As it suggests, your role represents the actions made by your models. To deepen your immersion, try to imagine what's happening as they fight. Did your Captain Terminator armor simply miss an attack, or was it parried by a slashing claw? Did he merely deflect a blow, or did he dodge out of the way at a key moment? This is actually good information, because I want to do narrative battle reports for Kill Team. But it might be looking like I'm doing them for combat patrol as well. So, the battle. Follow the sequence below in order. Take it in turns to make attacks with the Winged Tyranid Prime, the Captain Terminator armor, until one has been slain. So there we are. So, they're not going into things like initiative here. So I'll show you the other page as well. So yeah, so they're not really going into like the details of like initiative. It's like who goes first, rolling off, that sort of thing. And perhaps that's for the best as well, just so it's easy to follow. The Winged Tyranids on the Tyranid stand. The Winged Tyranid Prime's attacks are broken into 3 stages: hit rolls, wound rolls, and save rolls. You can see which number you need to roll on the dice at the top of each stage. If at any point you fail all your rolls, go to the Space Marine turn and skip to the later stages. Okay. A huge and terrible shape springs from the shadows upon a great leathery wings. It is a Tyranid Prime. Only the captain's superhuman reactions stop him from being slain outright. He brings up his blade to defend himself in a flurry of attacks. The Winged Tyranid Prime is a ferocious combatant. When it attacks, it can slash at an enemy 6 times with its prime talons. To do this, roll 6 dice. So if we go back here, that will be the A there. I know you won't be able to see it, but here on the weapons, attacks 6. These are called hit rolls. So when you to do this, roll 6 dice. These are called hit rolls. This creature is incredibly precise due to its alien instincts and cunning, and so these attacks all hit on a roll of 2 or better. Or 2 or better. How do we determine that? Let's have a look. Maybe the wound save next to it. On 2 or better. So the 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 hit, but the 1 fails, as demonstrated there. The Winged Tyranid Prime's talons strike again and again against the Captain Terminator's armor. Some skitter off. Space Marines form harmlessly, while others are potentially lethal. Tyranid wound rolls. Now roll to see if the Winged Tyranid Prime has struck hard enough to potentially injure the captain. Take each dice that was a hit in the previous step and roll it again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 of the dice. Each dice that was a hit in the previous step and roll it again. So he's got 6 there. Alright, let's go on reading. Take each dice that was a hit in the previous step and roll it again. Wound rolls change based on how strong a weapon is and how tough a combatant is. The prime talons have strength. The S strength. Yes. So the A6 wound save 2+, strength 6. Okay. So the prime talons have a strength of 6, which is higher than the captain's toughness of 5. So I'm just reading this for my own information, just so I can learn better as well. Yep, toughness of 5. That's on the top bit there. That means that they only roll a wound on a roll of 3 or higher. Right. So where's this 3 coming from? Is it the wound save? Where's the 3+ coming from? Anyway, let's keep moving. Each dice you rolled was a 3 or higher, successfully wounded, and it has the potential to seriously harm the captain in Terminator armor, while each roll of 1 or 2 fails to wound the superhuman champion. So here we've got 4 wounds here, so 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1 and 2 fail. But again, like, they've shown 6 dice here. Even though, even though it says here, take each dice that was hit in the previous step and roll it again. Each dice that was a hit, which was only 5. I suppose it's just for demonstration purposes anyway. Now the Space Marine save rolls. The Terminator captain grits his teeth and gives a short prayer to his armor's machine spirit. His Terminator warplate is all that's sense between him and death. So he's got 6 wounds. So now, Space Marine rolls. Whenever an enemy successfully wounds one of your models, you have a chance to save your model from damage. This is called a save roll against the razor-sharp talons of the winged Tyranid Prime. The captain saves on a 3+ or better. So that must come from the turret. I can see 2+. Save is 2+, so I don't know. That's wrong. I'm not doubting that it's correct or anything like that. I'm just struggling to understand where they're getting this information. So yeah, but you know, there's other resources out there as well. We don't just need to rely on this to tell us. There's plenty of YouTube channels and I can explain it in more detail and break it down and explain it like I'm 5. Take each dice that was a wound in the previous step and roll it again. Each roll of a 3 or better is successfully saved. So 3, 4, 5, and 6 save, but the 1 and 2 fail. Each roll of a 3 or better is successfully saved. The Prime Talons have a damage characteristic of 2, so for each failed save, the captain takes 2 damage. Place 2 wound markers next to him to keep track. Okay. The Space Marine turn. The Captain Terminator's armor's attacks are broken into 3 stages: hit rolls, wound rolls, and save rolls. Yep, same thing. Yep. Okay, that's fine. If at any point you fail your rolls, go to the turn and skip to the later stages. The Space Marine levels his blade and makes a series of precise and deadly blows, aiming to break the winged Tyranid Prime's guard. The Captain in Terminator armor is an expert warrior. When he attacks, he can strike his foe 6 times with his relic weapons, as with the winged Tyranid Prime, make 6 hit rolls. The Captain is a skilled warrior, so these attacks all hit on a roll of 2 or better. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 hit, and the fail is a 1. As demonstrated here as well. There we go. Space Marine wound rolls. The Captain aims for the vulnerable spots on the winged Tyranid Prime's hulking body. Has he struck true, or will his strikes fail to cause lasting damage to the alien's bizarre physiology? Now, roll to see if the Captain has struck hard enough to potentially injure the winged Tyranid Prime. Take each dice that was a hit in the previous step, and roll it again. The relic weapon has a strength of 5. This is equal to the winged Tyranid Prime's toughness of 5. That means they wound on a roll of 4 or higher. So 4, 5, and 6 wound, but 1, 2, and 3 fail. Each dice you've rolled that was 4 or higher has successfully wounded, while each roll of 1, 2, or 3 fails to wound the winged Tyranid Prime. Tyranid save rolls. The winged Tyranid Prime is less well armored than the Captain in Terminator armor, and against his relic weapon will only save a blow on a roll of 6 or better. So they roll 6 wound. So they roll 6 dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 fail, but 6 saves. The winged Tyranid Prime, so take each dice that was a wound in the previous step and roll it again. Each roll of a 6 is successfully saved. For each failed save, the winged Tyranid Prime takes 2 damage. The winged Tyranid Prime is down steadily. Will they be enough to destroy the Captain? The battle continues. After you have completed this sequence, if at any point you fail all your hits or wound rolls, or if all your attacks are saved, move back to the previous page and start the turn again. When a model has suffered enough damage to be slain and has been removed from the board, end the battle and turn the page. There you'll see how the results of your duel have shaped the story you're telling on the tabletop. we're coming up to the final pages now. So, here we have the narrative results. The battle ends for now. And I imagine that this will expand, kind of like how the starter set does it as well. They have little campaigns and missions and whatnot. The introductory starter set with the Infernus Marines and the Sergeant versus the Termagants had a similar thing as well. Congratulations, which champion managed to secure victory? SPESS victory. With a brutal blow, the captain slices the winged Tyranid Prime in two. He voxes his position to his troops, checks his ammo, and prepares to fight. He has fought Tyranids before and knows that this victory is only temporary. The beast he has fought is only an appendage of the wider hive mind. The wider hive mind. However, you say apparently it's a redditor. However, he is ready and will kill as many Tyranids as it takes to secure victory. Tyranids victory. The winged Tyranid Prime stands over the fallen Space Marine, eyeing its enemy not with hunger, with cold calculation. The captain, gravely wounded, manages to struggle free and escape, but the winged Tyranid Prime does not immediately give chase. The hive mind has learned much into this battle, and to hunt this prey will allow it to gather more vital information on the Space Marines. So I thought it, like just reading that there where he slips away is a bit cheap, but it does actually tell you that by letting him go, they can learn a bit more about the Space Marines. That's vital to High Fleet Leviathan, which is the colour scheme that they've gone for with the Tyranid here. Multiple Tyranid life signs detected, incoming on all fronts. Ready your weapons, remember your battle drills. It is time to teach this filth of the Emperor's wrath. It's the little transcript at the bottom there. So that's quite nice. And then here, you've got your wound markers at the top corners, here and here. So that's good. It tells you get your armies with Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol. Subscribe to Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol to own this incredible collection with 3 brushes, technical tool, and lots of different paints. And there we have the ending of Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol magazine. So I'm re-recording the ending of this because I wasn't overly happy with how the original eventually just became a lot of rambling and whatnot. So very quickly to conclude, I think Combat Patrol magazine, the magazine itself isn't very good. It definitely needs more work. Hopefully we'll see a lot more entries going forward. I said this with D&D Adventure Magazine as well, how there could be things like interviews and articles from the makers of the game, tips and tricks and things like that. Definitely a lot of lore. There needs to be so much more substantial lore, and if Warhammer is indeed satire, try and make more of an effort to actually prove it that it is, and be a bit more critical of the setting and its inhabitants. But then again, maybe this magazine is for people who are just trying to get into it, maybe, or they already know, perhaps. But yeah, definitely want to see some more lore. We keep seeing this thing about the Silver Templars here at the bottom. Return of the Silver Templars. That wasn't in this issue. I don't think it's in the next one either. So I wasn't overly happy with that, you know. But I'd like to see maybe lore in all the chapters, all the different hive fleets, and not just the main ones, but really go into that sort of stuff every single issue. So interviews, articles, you know, maybe even some battle reports and things like that. Because otherwise I think the magazine might not actually be worth it that much, except for the miniatures. Which granted is a cheap way of getting the combat patrols and with the extra goodies, if you're interested in those extra goodies. Otherwise, you might be able to find a lot of this stuff online pre-owned. However, I do actually think that Warhammer 40,000 Combat Patrol is great for getting 2 people into the game at one time. So, for example, myself, I want to collect the Space Marines, while my partner might well want the Tyranids, so we'll split the magazine. And I think that's the best value, because otherwise, you're basically going to only want the specific issues, and good luck actually being able to pick them up. Recently, I've been able to get issues 1 and 2 in store for my partner, but I've struggled to find any future issues after that. Yeah, I just don't see them stocked in the places that I go to, and I go to a fair few newsagents to try and find them, and no, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Can't find it at all. So either the magazine is selling out, and granted they only have about like 1 or 2 issues at a time, But still, even then, people seem to be snapping them up very, very quickly. I'm not surprised because it is cheap Warhammer. So yes, the price value seems to be good, but the content of the magazine, I've had it described as hamster bedding by one user, and that sort of stuck with me. It is very much hamster bedding. I'd like for it to be better. I like to get a lot more out of the magazine itself, but if it's just a vehicle to get cheaper Warhammer, then I guess it succeeds at that. But that's it for me. I'm a lot more satisfied with this than I was D&D Adventurer magazine. And I know realistically this is just a way to get the models cheap. If you only want those combat patrols. Honestly, I don't want 9 combat patrols. I just want to get into combat patrol. But yeah, I'm satisfied with the content so far, and I've seen future issues. Well, I've seen one future issue at least, so I know what's coming with that. I would like to do the reviews of issues 2, 3, and 4 when they arrive in mid-October. As of now, it's the 23rd of September, and I guess I'm going to be one of those who gets theirs in mid-October. I think Hachette have actually taken the money for it though. I got a bill from PayPal, so I think that's it. So they take the money, that they haven't actually delivered the goods yet, but I know they will. So here's hoping that gets here safe and soon. So yeah, so Combat Patrol magazine, it's pretty good. I just wish the magazine component itself was better. D&D Adventure magazine has done this before. It was better. We know they can do better. Please, Hachette, please do better. There's just too much lore to draw upon to come up short in this first issue, and the first issue is where I'd really want it to sell me on the setting of Warhammer and all the factions and whatnot. It could have been a much larger issue, but oh well. But yeah, that's it for me. So do I recommend Combat Patrol magazine? Yes, I do. On the stipulation that you can really sort of split it with 2 people, or you're actually in dire want of those 2 armies plus the extra goodies, and you want a refreshed Combat Patrol, because I think perhaps this will be the new Combat Patrol box going forward, because Combat Patrol boxes have changed in the past. So I think we're seeing the latest iteration for 10th edition, but we shall see. But yes, that's it for me. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'm more than happy to talk about the magazine and its components, and give my speculations and whatnot. But yes, I hope to review issues 2, 3, and 4 at a later date. But thank you very much for watching. Take care. Ta for now.